we're just going to go through our journey from what we call our first date, how we kind of got to know each other. And is that gradual, like we kept seeing each other in the same circles, and then to now. So yeah, I hope you sit back, have a few things. We're happy to answer questions as we get along here, and would love to, do whatever we can.
Okay. So how we actually met, what we share, we just share about everything. But I'll share with you that I met Gina's microsite before I met Gina. I actually started at a Common Core State meeting and heard about the OER and so forth, got very interested in that. And from one person to the next, making contacts and so forth, then I found quite a bit of information on OER and then decided to pursue a microsite for the Virgin Islands. In my pursuit of that microsite, I used Michigan State as my go-to. That's where I went for anything and everything microsite. I used also some of Washington's hub, but everything for me, just about everyone who was involved with this process on the local level, they actually knew about Michigan, because that's where I went to beg, borrow, and thief. That's a special way of saying steal. It's stealing with the connotations and what's not. I went everywhere to Michigan, and that's how I got into the microsite, took what I wanted from there to build out the microsite. Some of my colleagues who helped with that building process are here this evening, and I thank them for being here. But then I started seeing Michigan, Gina, on several virtual sessions, because by now we're into the pandemic. And as I saw Gina, I'm like, oh, you're the person I've been stealing from. And we just got into conversations. I did follow up, we met, and now we are like inseparable. There's not a 2 week that goes by that we don't make an attempt to have our sessions. They're both professional, they include peer mentoring, but they also include self-care. Over to you, Gina.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And I think that's what is important is notice who you are in your OER circles, because ultimately, I mean, Yvette and I had been seeing each other in some of the same meetings, doing some of the same things, talking with some of the same people. But actually, it was ISKME that I think just really sealed the deal for us. We were both participating in a professional learning committee, and the chair had to step down, and we kind of looked at each other and went, I don't know if I can take it on alone. And we're like, but maybe we can do it together. And that is really what kind of blossomed everything into let's meet more often, let's learn more from each other. And we started learning more from other folks. I mean, we've learned from Oregon and Nebraska and Washington. I mean, there are so many more. I feel bad not saying every one of them, but we meet, I mean, we love sharing what we know and our experiences. And I think that's really, we found that to be so helpful that we knew we had to start making more time to learn from each other. And that really is what it is. It's that whole educator, lifelong learning, continuing to improve piece. I think we both have that mindset, and just running with it and making it actionable, making it so that we are doing that. So yeah, it's really evolved into something that, worth sharing with all of you. So we hope that we can connect with you as well.
That's great. I love that you both really make time intentionally in the week to do that. I think that's unusual. Shall I go to the next slide, Gina?
Sure. I mean, Yvette talks about GoOpen Michigan. I wasn't the beginning of GoOpen Michigan. That was Anne Marie Mapes and a couple other folks at the department. But because of their work, they created my position. And so I started in June of 2019, not quite a year after GoOpen Michigan rolled out. And we were like in the newborn, not even a toddler yet stage of what resources do we want Michigan educators to be able to use, and what are the important resources that we can pull in. So, setting those goals. When I came on board, my personal goal was right there. I want every teacher to go to GoOpen Michigan and find a resource that they can use in their classroom the next day if they had to. And that's a tall order, because when I say every teacher, I mean every curriculum area. And that not only benefits the Michigan educators, that benefits USVI, that benefits maybe the world. So I just could see a much bigger impact for everyone, and I love to share. So those were kind of where we started with GoOpen Michigan, and I still have that thinking. I'm still looking. There's those groups that I'm looking for materials and OER for that just don't have, according to my standards, enough OER available to them. So we're always keeping our eyes open. Those early learners, that birth to 8, birth to 3 group, where's the OER for some of these other groups? World language, they were coming to me. Where can we find things? So it's having that goal and continuing to work with it. Yvette, I think you had some things for
Sure.
GoOpenUSVI.
Yes. Yeah, great. Thank you, Gina. Well, for me, my biggest goal is to expand and just continue to grow GoOpenUSVI and embrace it with the entire community. Right now, we focus on the K-12 and the university to some extent, but I want it out in the community. I want it to be the go-to for members of the community as a whole, for parents, homeschool parents, board members, legislators, no matter whom. I want people to use GoOpenUSVI as that go-to. I am expanding it through weekly visits to schools. I travel across districts, and I have to travel by plane, seaplane, to get to the other district. And I do that every week. In a school, I just sit there during the teachers' planning. They come to me, and that more intimate interaction with teachers has been very helpful, as opposed to a virtual session that you just try to throw everything at them. That has been working. So that's definitely a goal, to continue those visits. I also want to transition from curation to creation and encourage more of open author, where teachers, educators as a whole can upload their own work, their own lesson plans, their own unit plans, and so forth. So that's definitely a goal of mine, to facilitate and definitely encourage that. And then for me, a big goal is to shift that mindset regarding textbook adoption. We still, and I'm in the heart of textbook adoption with all its challenges and its struggles. So this is personal for me. And where teachers can see that, yes, we have a 7-year textbook adoption or a 6-year textbook adoption, whatever, but throughout the course of this new adoption, I want them to see that they can move away from this holy soul adoption textbooks and create their own resources, and also curate what they need right from GoOpenUSVI and other such microsites and hubs. So that's my goal.
Great to hear about each of your ecosystems. I know they're distinct, but they have a lot in common. So I'll let you talk a bit more about that.